we're breaking chains, not just barriers. I got a powerful sister with me, Salome, who's coming in hot at the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit that starts next week. She's going to be talking about overcoming money trauma because let's be honest, it's not just about how much money you make. It's about how much you believe you can keep and how much you believe you can grow and leverage. So if you ever made good money but still feel broke, guilty, or stuck in survival mode, you need to lean in. We are going to go there today. So go tag a friend and hit that share button now because it's about to go down. Salome, before we dive into deep stuff, let the people know who you are and what made you so passionate about helping others heal their relationship with money.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm super excited for what's coming up and what the people are going to learn and be exposed to. Like I said, my name is Salome. I am a therapist. I'm also a leadership identity expert. And what I do is really help people get out of that survival mode that you talked about, right? So people can heal their relationship with themselves, that then transfer into healing relationship with money and everything else that comes after that. So helping people understand what that looks like, helping people become conscious of how they're showing up in their own lives, the things that they're doing, and how that those things are affecting how they show up for themselves, and therefore how they're able to show up for these different aspects. And money is an important factor of this conversation, right? Because like you said, you have people that work and make so much money but still feel broke. Why does that happen? Why is it so? So let's uncover all of that for the people, Jeff. And I'm super excited to help the people understand what's stopping them from getting to that next level that it works so hard for.
That is awesome. The Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit is a passion project of mine to help educate and get right information into the communities that we serve, because I'm a firm believer that if you understand what's going on, you will know what to do. And it's an opportunity to bring experts and teachers together. They can share their information, because when you elevate your financial IQ, when you get your money right, man, your money confidence grow. And when your money confidence grow, man, you could do some things that you never thought that you can do. And you can be able to leave a blueprint for family members behind you, create the legacy that you deserve. And more importantly, you'll be able to give on your terms. So this is the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit. We do it every year. So this is going to be something that's going to be ongoing to bring good financial education into our community. So you can register for the conference that starts this Tuesday, where our esteemed speaker is going to be kicking off the summit on Tuesday night. And I'm looking so forward to it. And that's why I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk to her. But you go over to register for the summit. Is at firstgenerationwealthbuilder.com. I'm going to put it in the comments so that you can go and click the link and you can register. And if you really feel about that life, upgrade to VIP. You'll get a conference workbook, and it's got tons of bonuses and tons of resources to help you to get your money game right and help you to be more confident about what you're doing financially. So enough of that. Salome.
Yes.
What was your first money memory growing up that shaped how you felt about money?
Oof. That's a big one now, Jeff, okay? Because I know we all have that, right? And so many of us are very unconscious to that fact, right? Of how our upbringing and how things were displayed to us has affected the way that we show up in our own lives. So for me, Jeff, what I remember is the fact that it was just never enough. It was never enough, and enough in the sense that even when we had it, it felt like it wasn't enough. And that's a survival mode because we never could take ownership of what we had and utilize it in the way that it needed to be utilized for. Because that mentality was always in lack. So we always wanted more, even when we did have. So we didn't know what to do with what we had. So that's my memory of money, and that greatly showed up in my life as an adult, where it was just never enough.
You talk about money trauma, right? But for someone who's watching this who thinks, you know what, I'm good, I'm fine, how can they tell if they're really carrying like financial trauma if they're telling themselves that they're good and they're fine?
Well, that is the fallacy, Jeff, right? Because the fallacy comes in when we are unaware. I don't even want to say refuse to look at ourselves, right? I would say unaware, because there is a very unconscious story that's at play here that most people are not aware of, that is actually in charge of how they show up. So, of course, the defensiveness comes when they say I'm fine and I'm good, because admitting that I need help, admitting that I don't know, admitting that the way I think and hope and envision my life to be is not showing up in reality as that, sometimes it's very defeating for a lot of people. It's that come to Jesus moment where we have to be honest with ourselves. And a lot of times that's actually scary, because when we become honest, then the next step is, what do I do next? How do I take control? And the mindset is, am I ready for what that next looks like? Right? So it's easier to say, I'm good, I'm fine, when our reality is showing us that we're not good, we're not fine. But that's okay. And hopefully that's what the webinar is for, the summit is for, to kind of help people understand that there's something you can do. There's something you can do. You don't have to keep being stuck in this space that's no longer serving you, because you deserve more.
That's right. I hear the old folks always say, don't be like Chuck that's stuck and just can't get out the pickup truck. It goes something like that. So this is going to be good. One of the things that, that I'm always curious about, right? Because I've heard so many of them, like growing up in the inner city, growing up in North Philly, we heard so many different lies about money. We had so many different money lies, I like to call them. So what's like one money lie that Black and brown communities have been told for too long, and now it's time for us, because we've heard that lie and that lie ain't true, and now it's time for us to burn it down? What's a good money lie that we need to burn down today?
Oof. Honestly, though, Jeff, what comes up for me is the idea of living below your means. I hear that a lot. It comes up for me because what it does is it doesn't allow us to see all the possibilities of how we can rise above, right? So we keep looking for less than lower. Nobody say you shouldn't get a bargain, right? That's not the idea. But the mentality is, I can get more because this is where I am. So we tend to settle for just good enough. We tend to settle for just good enough when there are so many possibilities. And that's that money trauma, right? Because who do I need to be to step into that power to get more? Right? So living below your means, it sounds good, but it's also a stuck point for a lot of people, because it doesn't allow them to see all the possibilities of what more looks like. Or is there more I can get? Should I get more? So to me, that's a big one, because once I was able to break that idea of, if I want more, the question is, what do I need to do to get more? Right? More
That's
money,
true.
more wealth, more anything, right? Rather than, well, this is all I have, or I don't have enough, and just being okay with that. So I think that idea of living below your means, I hear a lot of people glorify it, but I don't think it's something to be glorified, because I think it just keeps you accepting less than you deserve.
So if you have this elevated mindset, this thinking process, from what I'm hearing, it seems that healing your money trauma, if you healed your money trauma, it can really help you to get to the bag. Is that what you're also saying as well?
That is exactly what I'm saying. If you heal that money trauma, all you see is the bag, okay? You see the bag and the crevices of everywhere, and all you do is go and get it. Healing your money trauma will get you to the bad, because those things that you saw as obstacles at one point, they're no longer barriers. They're opportunities, and you feel empowered, and you believe that it's yours to get. Why not? Why not?
We're talking to Salome Saah, who is a mental health therapist. She's going to help us to get over the money trauma this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit. The link is in the comments that you can click and register today. The summit is free. You can upgrade to VIP for only $49. You'll get a resource guide. It's got tons of bonuses. You'll get a conference workbook and some goodies, a replay of the summit. We're going to have 10 speakers that's going to come and bless the microphone and give us some financial education to really help us to increase our financial IQ. Because when you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. So, Salome,
Yes.
what does it really look like? Break this down for me. What does it really look like when someone is stuck in money survival mode? And more importantly, what does it look like? And then I got a follow-up question. What happens if that person doesn't even realize it? So it's kind of like a two-part thing. Like, what happens if people are stuck in money survival mode? And then what does that look like for someone who doesn't even realize it?
Yeah, Jeff, the idea of being stuck, right, is not finding your way out of a situation, right? It's about being in a space that doesn't allow you to expand. And that comes from a belief that who you are is not good enough. So with that idea, with that idea that who you are as you are is not good enough, all you see is flaws of why you can't get more. All you see is limitations that get in the way of you not being able to do something. And that's where stuck in money survival mode is, right? Where there are possibilities. Like, Jeff, what you do is amazing, but people may not take that opportunity because, again, it's not thinking about the future, right? It's not really thinking about what this could do to alleviate some what my pressures could be, money pressures, right? Most times you will hear people thinking about, I don't have enough to do what I need to do to set myself up for the future, or my family for that matter, right? It's usually about setting yourself up and the people that depend on you as well. But when we're operating in that space of survival mode, especially when it comes to money, we're not using maybe the little bit that we have to make those decisions, right? That can really, really impact the quality of our lives. Rather, we might be spending tons of money on something else. We see people a lot of times, people may not have enough for the things that will elevate their lives, but they have enough to buy things that are of low quality or that really don't add much value to their lives, especially something that would set you up. So money survival mode is not seeing the total picture or not being aware enough to see how your actions are, right, to be very strategic about your action, your money, and what it means to you and what it can do for you, right? That's why we see people not being able to plan for the future. We see a lot of times when something happens or emergencies happen, people are not able to, they don't have reserve because they haven't thought it through about how I can make money work for me, or what do I need to do with this money, rather that instant gratification, like I got it now, let me use it, let me spend it, right? For instant gratification that really doesn't set them up with ease, because setting yourself up, making sure that you are setting your family up, this is like healing generational wounds we see in our lives, right? We are, a lot of us are operating out of survival mode. So being able to set yourself up and your family, you get to heal a lot of generational. You get to make it easier for the people that look up to you. You get to be that example rather than doing the same thing your parents did, your great-great-grandparents did, still operating on the same programming of we just don't have enough. when there's so much abundance all around us, right? But we're not aware enough. When you're operating from that space, you're just not aware enough to see what's around you. So healing that part of yourself really allows you to become conscious to seeing all the ways that you can take advantage of what's available to you. All right. So
Yep.
yeah, Jeff. So that really, really just helps people in terms of healing that money wound, survival mode, just helps people be more conscious, understand the stuck patterns that we find ourselves in, because that's what it is, of just repeating the same thing over and over and over and nothing's changing. And that's a life that is not rewarding at all.
I can appreciate that. And I know one thing, like, especially like me, like I'm a first generation wealth builder. I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and one of the things, like, I want to talk about myself right now, because I've had times in my life where I really struggled in this area, like when I'm financially winning, and I'm financially winning like really big, and I'm enjoying success from and success, financial success has hit me from the north, the south, the east, and the west. And sometimes, in them quiet moments, like, I get so guilty, and I feel so guilty. And I'm like, I never understood, like, can you talk to me and help me out a little bit? So when the next times when those things happen, like, how I can deal with feeling guilty when I'm winning financially. Because I know a lot of people, I've talked to many people who are first generation wealth builders, the first to go to college, first start a business, first to become a real estate investor, whatever the case may be. They feel guilty sometimes when they are winning financially and winning big. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, that's a huge one, Jeff, because I too, I am a first generational person in America trying to, make it. So sometimes that does come up for you. That does come up where that guilt sets in, right? Because you start, one, looking at your family, perhaps, of thinking about all the things that they don't have, um, and perhaps starts to feel bad about why me, and thinking about all the burnings that come with being, I don't want to say the chosen one, but that's what it sounds like, right? It gotta be somebody, gotta be the chosen one, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how about let's honor that right now and own it, the chosen one. But that comes with a lot of responsibility as well, even being named that, right? Because you carry a lot of burdens and expectation, and that comes with a lot of guilt for a person. And usually what happens is we start to overcompensate, right? Our need to say no dissipates. We're not able to do it because we feel guilty to set those boundaries. And this goes into my part of the summit when I talk about it on Tuesday, is the need to, the guilt that we feel to set those boundaries and to really, really operate from a place of surety, security, right? Of saying, this is the journey that I'm on right now. And being okay with letting people know that, especially the people that are important to you. Rather, we feel bad for setting those boundaries. We feel bad for saying, well, this doesn't work for me right now. We feel bad for prioritizing ourselves, because again, we were told that we feel this sense of responsibility that we need to carry everybody. And that's a huge part in communities where when one person is being successful, they have this need that it's your job to make sure everybody else is successful, or make sure everybody else is okay. But again, that comes from a survivor belief, right? That comes from a belief where it's perpetuated by guilt, by fear of what that could look like to other people who they will see you to be now, right? That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go along with the idea of who they saw you before, right? And that can create tension in the person of what that could look like. And if you're not comfortable with the narrative changing about you, right, from other people, even your family, what happens to that person is they're stuck in this space of guilt and over giving, over pleasing, trying to prove something that takes away from their goals and what they need to do. So applauding to practicing some boundaries, actually practicing some boundaries around this space, honestly, right? But again, you got to be sure of who you are. You got to really know who you are, because that's what's going to take away the guilt of you being even able to say no, because now you're not operating from this place of fear or survival where you need to prove something, right? You feel confident within yourself to say, well, this is not going to work for me. You get to set that boundary. You get to say no and mean your no without thinking that you're hurting someone, what they're going to say about you. And you become very confident in that. So a lot of people do operate from that place, Jeff, of feeling so guilty about their successes when they
Yes, I
should.
know. I know one of the things that I've done when I feel like this, I've always refer back to prayer, and I always reflect back to affirmations. Like those are the two things that always help me. Like when I'm in that guilty place and when I'm feeling guilt about financially winning and seeing other people in my family maybe not be as prosperous as I am, like I always reflect back to prayer and affirmation to help me in those times. What are some other things that people could do, like to kind of shut that guilt down outside of prayer and affirmations? You got any other tips that we can help some of the listeners out there who's watching, who might be feeling some of these same kind of emotions? Any other activities or things that they can do that when that guilt try to creep up on them for feeling guilty for being successful, the only one in the family, that they can to use to kind of help them in that process?
That is a really great question, Jeff. Really, really great question, because a lot of people struggle with that. And I think a lot of people take responsibility for making sure everybody else is okay. That is not your job. Actually, you need to retire that job, okay? Because it's impossible. It's almost impossible to make everybody happy. So first, being okay with the fact that everybody's not going to like you. Be okay with that, okay? And
I
I'm
am
just,
okay with that. I
listen.
really am okay with that.
You're right, right, right. Everybody's not going to like you, and they're not supposed to like you, because when you're changing the status quo, it's going to really, really shock some people about you. And if they are operating from a certain place, they're going to have narratives that don't represent you. So you should be okay with that. Be okay with that. Know that you're deserving. You worked hard for where you are. I mean, nothing got given to you. I mean, it takes so much courage to actually step out of yourself and the fear and everything else that tries to pull you down, to actually ignore that and do in any way, doubt, self-doubt, to actually overcome that self-doubt part of yourself, because we all have that, to do something, to take risk. You deserve that. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for that. Now, if you do have people in your life that you feel the need to explain things to, then maybe you could do that if you want to, right? But it should come from that place of you being sure of who you are. It should come from you. It should come from alignment of who you are, rather than trying to prove something, because that's not going to go well. And they're going to just inflict more guilt on you, right? And then that's just going to start the whole process again. So, one, not taking ownership for other people's feelings, to be honest with you. And we're going to say, be okay with everybody not liking you. Be okay with not being their savior. If I may add, Jeff, I'm from Liberia, as you know, right? And sometimes our people in Liberia, they will literally be sending messages all the time, asking for money to do everything. I don't believe in always giving people money in that way, because I believe I'm not helping you if I'm always giving to you. That's my mentality. I'd rather set you up for success and help you tap into your own self in that way.
See, I used to be like that, right? And I used to do things like I used to use these money hacks, and I'm like, all right, so whenever somebody in my family always needed money, they always called me. I was always the go-to guy for most of the time. So what I started to do, like to stop them from calling me, I would call them and ask them for money, so they wouldn't call and ask me for nothing. I didn't need the money, but I didn't want them to call asking me for money. That's what I used to do. So now, as I start to get mature and thank God for maturity. Thank God for prayer, because I got a little bit more mature in this area. I started to think differently. I started to say, you know what? I am going to leave a blueprint now. I want to leave a money blueprint that if they follow the money blueprint, they won't need to ask me or nobody else for money, because they will have some a different set of ideas, a different set of habits, and a different framework on how they can save money, make money, grow money, protect money, give money, the whole thing. So I started to think different. I'm going to leave blueprints instead of giving all the time. Now I'm going to give. It's just my nature, and I try to get out of it, but I am who I am. But into some regard, I'm going to switch it so that they could get a blueprint instead of always being in the position to want to ask over and over and over again. We're talking to Salome Saah. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Salome Saah, you got it. Yep.
All right, good. Because I was like, did I say her? I better make sure I say her last name right. We're talking. She's going to be a featured guest speaker for the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit that's taking place this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 to 9:30 p.m. You can go register at www.1 like first 1st like the number 1st generationwealthbuilder.com, where you can get free access. The conference, the summit's going to be on Zoom. You can watch anywhere in the world, and if you upgrade to VIP for our special VIP upgrades, you can get a special summit conference booklet. It's loaded with tons of information, tons of financial information to help you to improve your situation. I want to switch gears with you right now. I'm an affirmation guy. I say affirmations all the time. Like one of my favorite affirmation. I say this like 9-10 times a day. I'm so happy and so grateful that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I heard that affirmation. I was actually in a network marketing organization where we sold the best ginger and turmeric in the world. So all my Wakaya old family members out there, shout out to you guys. I got that affirmation from being in network marketing. Network marketing gave me a whole lot of good things, and that was one of the good things it gave me. It was a big boost in affirmations, and what you say to yourself when you talk to yourself matters. So that was really, really, really important for me, because I was dealing with a lot of things at the time when I was in the network marketing that those affirmations kind of help grow my money confidence. So it was, I'm so happy, I'm so grateful that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. I'm going to teach a class on that one affirmation, because that one affirmation is so powerful. At least it was so powerful to me. So, okay, I digress. I'm getting excited. So let me ask you a question. Like, what's one affirmation or mindset shift you want everyone to write down before they get the chance to see you on Tuesday to kick off the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit? What's one affirmation or one mindset shift you want the people to write down before Tuesday so they can be ready to get all of that great financial education you're going to drop on them?
Yes, Jeff. I'm trying not to be so long-winded here, okay? I do like your affirmation. You told me that before, and yes, I do use that, and that is powerful for sure. But for me, though, what really helps me really step out and see possibilities, what we talked about, is telling yourself, I'm allowed to be fully seen. You have, let's stop there. I'm allowed to be.
Come on now.
Listen, you get that, Jeff? You get that?
Come on. That hit me. I felt that one. Come on now.
Yes. Exactly that. I'm allowed to be fully seen. Listen, there's so many possibilities. You are way more than you give yourself credit for. Way more. There's so much you that you haven't even been able to tap into because it doesn't look like what it should look like in your eyes, should look like. So saying that to yourself, I'm allowed to be fully seen. You get to see all the parts of you. You get to show up as you are and
I'm writing that
operate
down
from
myself.
that space.
I'm allowed to be fully seen. I'm writing
I'm
that down myself.
allowed to be fully seen because you are allowed to be fully seen, okay? In every capacity. And this is what we talk about is giving yourself permission to do just that.
I like that, permission, because I like to talk about giving people money permission, and now you talking about giving people the awareness permission. That's powerful. I like that. I wrote that down. I am allowed to be fully seen. I'm gonna switch. I heard this. I heard this the other day, right? And I heard it in passing, and somebody was like, they was making really good money, and they made the comment that they were robbing Peter to pay Paul, and they was making over $100,000 a year, and and when they said that, it just made me go wow, because I used to have this little saying that I used to say too, is like, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, and I can't find Peter and Paul knocking on the door like, where my money? So I know a lot of people, even if they're making like six figures or more, they are like in this little thing because, as you make more money, your lifestyle expenses is just different and on a different level. So if anyone's watching and they know that they've been broke in the mind, even after they made six figures, like, what's the first step that they should do to shift their thinking today?
Yeah, because that's where it starts first, right? In the mind. All of our reality, everything that is reflecting back to you starts in the mind. So being financially poor in the mind, the first step is to honestly take an inventory of everything that you are good at. I really like to help people be able to see that, because I think a lot of times we are chasing what it should look like that we forget that we already have what we're looking for. Yeah. We already have everything that we're looking for. We just don't see it. So I want you to take an inventory of everything that you are, everything that comes so effortlessly to you, because you need to see you. You need to see you, because when you can see you, you can build from that space. You can elevate from that space, because if you're not looking at you and chasing validation of what it should look like, even if you have it, it seems like you don't. That's happened a lot, right? So see you. I will invite you to look at you, see all that you are. Think about all the things that you are after, which usually is validation, right? As much as we don't like to admit to that, but it's just what it is, right? Maybe draw that attention back to you and see you for once. And when you do, I promise you, you will no longer be the same.
Man, you got me so hyped about what's about to go down next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit. Where we're going to help you to elevate. We're going to help you we're going to educate you. We're going to help you to elevate, and we're going to help you to be in a position to be in control of your money, so you can live and give and be passionate about the things money-wise that you can help you to and you and your legacy. But Salome, yes, I want you to tell them why they can't afford to miss your session, because your session talking about bank accounts and boundaries and all of this kind of thing. Why can't they afford to miss your session at the Breaking Barrier Financial Education Summit? Just break it down and just get on the real talk about why they can't miss your session.
Yeah, it goes into everything we've been talking about, Jeff. Your bank account is a direct reflection of your mindset, right? And that's just what it is. Your bank account is a direct reflection of your mindset. But not only that, we're going to talk about ways for you to break these barriers. Usually it comes from, again, really, really seeing you so that you can operate from who you are. And in this summit, we'll be talking a lot about how the lack of the boundaries, the lack of really understanding who you are, the lack of the struggle of seeing who you are, how does kind of translate to burnout, because you start to do more, you start to prove more, and as we know, by proving more is depleting physically and mentally. So we'll be talking about ways that you can actually operate from a space that allows you to get more, increase your bank account without depleting yourself.
If you could shout one thing to your younger self about money, what would it be?
Oh man. Listen. Oh my God. I'm laughing because I can see her. Oh my God. If I can tell her, oh, wow. I know, Jeff. I just started laughing, right? Because I would tell her that there's so many possibilities and abundance is all around her, right?
Mhm.
And to operate from that space rather than a space of lack. And if I could tell her, I would tell her exactly that. I would be like, girl, a girl is all around you for yours. It's yours for the taking. Go get it. Go get it. Right? That's exactly what I was saying. As opposed to operating from a place of lack and really having that limited thinking that doesn't explore all the different possibilities, because they're there. They are there. They are there. And trust me when I tell you that.
I like
Listen.
that. I like that. So this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the Breaking Barriers Financial Education Summit is going to happen on Zoom. Make sure you go to www.firstgenerationwealthbuilder to register for the event. I'll put it in the comment section, the website. You could just go and click it to register to make sure that you are in the place. You have no excuse. The summit is free. You can watch it anywhere in the world. If you want to have the replay, make sure you upgrade to VIP. You get the replay. You'll get a booklet. You'll get tons of bonuses, a resource guide that you can follow along with, and make sure that you are getting all of the nuggets. I always say get all the nuggets and then take one of the nuggets and apply it.
Yeah.
Because, information without application is just information. You got to apply the information that you're learning. So, you know what I'm saying? So, if someone's watching, we're going to close out. This is my last question for you, Salome. If someone watching this could walk away with just one truth that can help them to start healing their money story today, what would it be?
You are capable of more. And and everything that you want other people to see in you, I want to invite you to turn that inward and look at you. Because if you operate from that space, you are unstoppable.
You have been listening to Salome Saah, mental health specialist, guest speaker at the Breaking Barrier Financial Education Summit. I was talking overcoming money trauma. I'm looking so forward to her session with bank accounts, boundaries, and your money. So it's going to be a powerful session. Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
It ain't gonna be no replay if you're not in the Zoom. So don't miss it. It's going to come live. You get the chance. We have some time built in her session that if you can ask her some questions. So just be there, get the information that's going to help to apply and help you to get better with your money and get better with your life. I'm Jeff, the Wealth Builder. Thank you, Salome, again for being on this journey with us. That I don't take it for granted that you took some time out to share your knowledge with us and share your special sauce and share your special ingredient with what makes you such a dynamic teacher and a dynamic leader in the mental health space. So thank you again. And thank you, people, for being on this session today. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. See you on Tuesday. Make sure you go register.
Register.